All right, hey everybody, welcome to episode 4. A lot packed into this episode, kind of like the last one. I want to show you the core shuttles that I made. We actually got to use them out in the field and they worked pretty well, so I just wanted to run you through the process of me building those. I want to show you what we did at Rosebrook Gorge, the coring that we did out there and what we collected. I got the core boxes in, we got them put together, was able to get the cores into those boxes, and we actually made some interesting discoveries there that I want to talk to you about, how important to us this coring tool and those boxes are. And then really excited too to show some of our initial results with you that we think confirm our initial hypotheses of some of the mechanisms that concentrate minerals in these fine grained deposits there. So Ashley's going to go over that with you. So with that, let's get right into it there. Here's me building these core shuttles. All right, guys, so my latest project is to build what I'm calling core shuttles for these. So these are all of the core segments that we collected when we were out in the field last, and they're wrapped in 2 layers of tin foil, which doesn't have a whole lot of structural support. Luckily, we didn't have to carry these far, so everything was fine, but we have a couple of these places we're gonna go where it's gonna be about a 4-mile hike round trip to get these in and out, and I don't think the foil is going to hold for that. So what I plan to do is build some PVC pipe core shuttles that basically a long tube with a cap on one end and a screw off cap on the other end with some foam padding on either side that we can lower these things down into, and then that'll add like the structural support that they need to be able to haul them in and out of the field there. So that's my project for at least part of today, and we'll see how it goes. Now I'm off to the store to go get the materials. All right, so I should have everything that I need to build these core shuttles. I was going to build 6 of these 2-foot long, but they didn't have 12-foot sections of pipe. They had 10-foot sections or 5-foot sections, and the 10-foot sections were only $1 more expensive than the 5-foot sections. So I just bought 2 of them so that I can make 10 of these things. So this is going to be the main piece there. I got an end cap I can put on the bottom and put some cushion in there, and then these are a screw on top for the top of these things, and then I have these lids then that'll screw down into these things. So that should actually, with the height of the caps and this base cap, that actually gives me like a little bit over 2 feet, which is good. Most of the cores we recovered were just under 2 feet, so should have plenty of room in there. So all right, so there's the raw materials. Let's get started on building them. First things first, I'm going to cut these 2 things, these 2 10-foot posts, into a bunch of 2-footers. I got all the pipes cut into these 2-foot pieces for the shuttles. Next step is I'm going to use PVC cement to glue these onto the tops like that, and then that'll be the side that we screw on, and then when that dries I'll flip them over and glue these caps onto the bottom. All right, let's do it. So I got all the screw end caps on, and the last step in the construction process anyways is to get these bottom caps on the bottom here, and then we should be good to go. Test them out and see if they hold the cores. A little bit of cushion in these things to set these down on so that they're not getting rattled around too much in there. So this is some foam I have left over. I actually use it for displays of fossils, goniatites and things like that, but if you leave it out in the lights it yellows for whatever reason, so I couldn't use it. So I'm gonna cut this like some 2x2 squares on here to put in the bottoms of those caps. Alright, I am on my way, another day out in the field. Scott abandoned me to go on vacation. How dare he? So I talked my nephew into going out with me and helping me, so I'm on my way to pick him up. It is a whopping 47 degrees right now in the middle of June. I don't know what the heck's going on there, but we'll see if we can make this happen, cut a few cores. Welcome to Rosebrook Gorge. Again, this is another section of private property. We got permission to cut some cores on this. I'm standing right here. This is the Kalwasser bed that we want to collect, and this is the interval of black and gray shales. You can see that there's actually numerous black shales in here that we're hoping to get with the core. And you can see our backpacks are up there, and that's the section that we're going to start this core up in the Dunkirk and get down through all this section. We actually have some videos we got from last time we came here and measured this section where we came from the bottom, and you can see if you look down that way, that's the waterfalls that we came up there. And so I'll go ahead and show you some of those videos right now, so check that out and then we'll get to drilling. Alright, so I'm backed out here just so you can kind of see the whole section, but we're standing here in this creek in the bottom of this gorge, and this just gives you an idea of the thickness of the Hanover section here. So you can see we're in Hanover. There's actually more downstream below us, but then up at the very top of this gorge you can see black shale starting to come in. So that right there is continuous black shale at the base of the Dunkirk, and you can see a number of these thinner black shale beds here and here that are starting to come in. So this is a section, we're about 8.5 miles or so from where we just were on Beaver Creek. We've moved up to where we're really starting to see this section expand and splay and more black shales coming in. We've actually skipped a few creeks just because they're a bit of a hike and can't do them both in one day, but this is a spot that we can get to and at least measure the section. So this is kind of what it looks like from down in the gorge here and in the Hanover section that we have here, and we'll keep trucking upstream and getting to where we can get right up to this contact. This is how we're going to get up section rapidly here. Nice big long waterfall we got to climb up through, so that's the plan.
This might also be how Randy gets down section rapidly.
Guys, so as previously stated, Scott decided to go on vacation this week and leave me short-handed, so I conscripted my nephew to come in and help me out with this. And in all honesty, he's been a huge help so far getting these cores extruded and labeled and shuttled, and I'm also going to make him haul all the heavy stuff back because what our nephew's for. But anyways, he's going to have a go at coring here and get working on the second hole there. We got the first one all cut and bagged up there, and now we're going to have a go at the second one. Dude, you're a natural. That was perfect. Official DRB classic PVC core shuttle. Got these wrapped in foil, marked top and bottom, core labeled, and then back so that it can handle traveling back to the car. There you go. So one of the things that I noticed while doing this coring a while ago for a client, I had to work on mechanical specific energy. And one of the things I looked at was the founder point. So if you plot weight on bit, which in our case is us pushing down on this, versus depth of cut or penetration rate, you find that there's this graph that's kind of shaped like this. And what you find is if you don't have enough weight on bit, you're not cutting any new rock. You're not pushing down hard enough to cut new rock. And then you go off this linear part where the more you push on it, the quicker it cuts, and you get better depth of cut there, and the efficiency is the same. So just weight on bit translates to cutting. But then you hit what they call the founder point, and what that means is that you're pushing too hard. You have too much weight on the bit, and you're bogging it down, and you actually start losing efficiency and depth of cut, and you can feel all of that happening as you drill with this core. It's really pretty incredible, where it's just sort of spinning on the rock, and then you push on it, it'll start going down, but if you push too hard, you'll hear the motor bog down, the ROP will go down, and you hit that founder point for this particular setup. So you can translate exactly what we're doing here with a gas-powered engine all the way up to, you know, some big rig out on, you know, an offshore platform or onshore whatever. It's the same physics. Check these out. These are the core boxes that we got in from the great ladies at CGS Mule right there, cgsmule.com. That's where you want to go. Again, they have all kinds of stuff there, from field supplies to lab equipment to coring equipment. Anything you want, you can get it there. I actually had my wife help me build these boxes last night, and I think I have enough birthday and Christmas wish list off of CGS Mule there to last me for a few years. So anyways, we built these, and I haven't labeled the boxes yet, just because we're not exactly sure if we're gonna have to put more than one core in here. We'd like to keep it to just one core per box, but I don't want to go labeling anything until we get that figured out. So right now this is how I'm doing it. But there's a top up there, so this is continuous Dunkirk down to here, and then we get this gray shale in. And then here's one of these first black shales of pretty significant thickness. You actually even see some pyrite nodules coming in there. But what was really great about this was that out in the field we were able, including this one, to measure 3 black shales in between the continuous base of the continuous Dunkirk and the top of the Kellwasser bed, which is this black shale that we see right here. But what's been great about this is having these boxes. I was able to get one of these cores out, which is phenomenal because, one, we can collect completely unweathered fresh sections down through these intervals here, but then we can clean these cores off. And what we noticed was that there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black shale beds in between the Kellwasser and the base of the Dunkirk. And out in the field we had actually only identified 3 between those 2 beds, and that even goes back as far as 30 years with 2 of, I would consider, probably the most prominent stratigraphers in New York looking at this section too. And it just goes to show you how difficult these exposures can be when they're weathered, they're overgrown with algae and lichens, there's water rushing down through there, and it can be really difficult to see everything that's going on there. So the ability to cut these vertical cores down through this section, and then more importantly the ability to clean them off, which I promise I'll do an even better job versus what you see here, but to clean them off and then get them displayed here has allowed us to identify deposits that we weren't sure were there. We didn't have any idea were there in the field. And moreover, some of these deposits, these beds that we didn't even realize existed, like this one here, what we have are these black shales here with a pyrite at the bottom, which our initial results indicate that these are actually concentrating some of these critical minerals that we're interested in. And Ashley's going to go ahead and talk about that here for a little bit now.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Dunkirk project. This week we have some data to show you, so that's very exciting. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so Initially, I made those point Gratiot measured sections. I made another measured section where I blew up the section so that we could get more detail and actually look at some of the data that we got back over this interval. Now, this is just our initial data set. We just wanted to, get a sense for how things are, how the elements are changing throughout the section. And I think we've described already how Randy and Scott have taken multiple samples at the same depth. And so what we're doing then is we're averaging that data so that we can plot it on this graph. So it is a log scale, and I don't think we should pay too much attention right now to the actual values that we have on there. But what's very exciting is that as we move from the gray and black shale interface up through the gray shale and into this pyritic lag, this erosional pyritic lag that it's at the base of the Dunkirk shale, we do see increasing concentrations of several of these elements. And so that's pretty exciting that we do have some geologic processes that are concentrating these elements in the shales. And so that's very exciting. Next step is, of course, to get more data, but to also try and figure out, what are the processes that are concentrating these elements? How do the elements exhibit themselves within the rocks? Because that's going to be very important so that we can, inform people about how technology should be developed in order to extract these battery metals from shales. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.